I started my Paw Patrol theory about the location of Adventure Bay, I always wondered what are the real life versions of each vehicles found in the Paw Patrol series? Well, I'm gonna start with the obvious one, the diesel locomotive from Paw Patrol. So basically, what is this train based off? Well, it technically is based on a 1960s or 1990s era Santa Fe diesel locomotive, a popular train known for its silver metallic top roof and the front end being colored red. However, this train was alternated to be colored after a British Rail Class 40 diesel locomotive, but the back of it technically resembles a Santa Fe while the front basically looks like a BR Class 40. If you pay attention to what the BR Class 40, it's a diesel locomotive that is basically used in British railways since the 1950s all the way to the 1940s. But this locomotive technically resembles the Santa Fe diesel locomotive due to its indistinct shape, design, and almost recognizable appearance. The next vehicle we're going to be looking at is the motorcycles of the Rough Pack. If you guys have watched the Paw Patrol episodes, you basically noticed this. Have you noticed that red circle with the bone inside it? That's technically a reference to the iconic Harley Davidson brand in the 1950s. The Harley Davidson motorcycle was originally used by the US military. Later on in the 1990s, its popular design was used for Terminator 2 Judgment Day, but it was also used by police in United States. This may likely be the fact that most of the vehicles in Paw Patrol have their brands unnamed throughout the series, and this is likely people can obviously catch the reference of each vehicle representing real-life models. Likewise, for all fans, Ryder's vehicle is an ATV, technically known as an all-terrain vehicle or four-wheeled bike or four-wheeler you call it. This bike is basically based off a Yamaha or John Deere motorcycle, which is a popular type of bike that was used in the US because this type of motorcycle is used for all-wheel driving and it's basically used by farmers. Throughout most of the series, Ryder is allowed to drive it because due to its compact size, this may likely be the fact that this could be a shortened version of a Yamaha quad bike. Next is Marshall's fire truck. If you don't know what Marshall's fire truck is based off, it could be based on a 1970s or 1980s era Mack firefighter truck, which is basically the most popular fire truck throughout the 1970s. This may likely be a shortened version of the original fire truck in real life because basically all the Paw Patrol vehicles seen throughout the show are basically just shortened or fictionalized versions of the vehicles themselves. Now we got Rubble's Bulldozer. If you guys don't know what Rubble's Bulldozer was technically based off, you can obviously see the color. The color of Rubble's vehicle is yellow, and guess what? It's based on a real-life bulldozer known as the Caterpillar D9 bulldozer. This bulldozer was popular in the US and its large size in the 1950s was basically a real-life version. However, this version is a bit smaller and compact. This may likely be a short base version of the original D9 bulldozer because the D9 Caterpillar bulldozer was a lot bigger in real life. Next we got the Paw Patroller. The Paw Patroller was originally based on a 1971 Peterbilt FLA sleeper cab or cab over truck. However, the original truck was originally destroyed after getting stolen and being turned into something else. Later on, the newer version of the Paw Patroller was seen to be based on a different type of truck, namely a Scania R Series or basically a different modified Peterbilt truck. I'm guessing that this truck was basically a different version of what the truck used to look like in real life. So I would technically understand what this vehicle is used to be. Well, technically, it kind of looks like a Chevrolet Silverado police pickup truck, which is basically the design of the headlights. However, in Rescue Pups, the vehicle basically or sharply resembles a Mac mobile command center used by FBI agents. This is likely the fact that most of the vehicles in Paw Patrol were basically government used vehicles, while some of them are a bit different compared to each other in real life and fictional. Next we got is Farmer Al's pickup truck. To be honest, this truck basically looks like a 1961 Chevrolet C10 pickup truck, or likely a 1970s Ford F-150, or somewhat a 1979 GMC pickup truck, I think. I don't know what the type of model this truck was based off, but I think it definitely resembles that of a Chevrolet pickup truck because I can obviously see the face of the truck. The face of this truck basically resembles that of a 1960s era Chevrolet C10 pickup truck due to the grille and the iconic logo mounted on the hood. Okay, I don't obviously get or understand what the concept of this garbage truck is, but from what I can tell, it either looks like a Scania or a Peterbilt garbage truck. Because most garbage trucks he, here and there, in fact, in USA, they use Peterbilts and Max as dump trucks. Well, this one, I think it definitely looks like a um, Scania R series garbage truck because the front definitely resembles a Scania R series because the Scania R series basically has rectangular shaped headlights and a vertical square shaped grille. Okay, numero uno facto about this one. The race car that Marshall drives in Paw Patrol Ready Race Rescue is basically a Formula One car. And note to self here, people, the car that Marshall drives is actually based on a real life vehicle. This Formula One car takes inspiration from a Ferrari FXX4 Formula One race car, which is actually Michael Schumacher's actual race car. I mean, take a look at this. You can obviously see the shape of the car. The shape of the car is definitely a Formula One because most Formula One cars are skinny. They have large engines attached to the rear, and guess what? They don't have fender covers because this race car is skinny and it's a bit long from back to the front. So, in Ready Race Rescue, the vehicles technically share some similarities with real race cars, such as Formula One race cars. Formula One race cars are made out of different car brands like Mercedes Benz, Audi, McLaren, and Ferrari. In fact, Ford and Dodge never actually had Formula One race cars because they were pretty much used for stock car racing, while Ferrari was only used for Formula One racing. In fact, Aston Martin also was a Formula One race car as well. Okay. Not exactly a real life vehicle, but I think this vehicle is fake. Yeah, so I'm not gonna thoroughly guess what this thing is, but I think it basically resembles that of a kitty carrier box. Yeah. So, I'm not going to thoroughly guess what this vehicle is based off because I do not really think that this car is real. In fact, this car is actually fake. It doesn't even have a real life counterpart or real life inspiration. Oh, okay. Now, this is one of the vehicles that I have mentioned that I didn't have mentioned a few episodes back then. So, Tracker's vehicle in the Paw Patrol series is basically a pickup truck. So, what can I obviously guess about this car is that this car could basically resemble that of a modified Dodge Ram TRX, a Rebel, or a Ford F-150 Raptor. Well, I'm guessing this truck strongly resembles that of a Dodge Ram because it basically has a Dodge Ram face. I mean, just look at that. That's definitely a Dodge Ram face. Okay, now this is one of the undeniable and recognizable vehicles that I could find in the Paw Patrol series. The Scooter of Liberty in Paw Patrol is, you guessed it, a Vespa scooter. In fact, this Vespa scooter turns out to be a real life vehicle, but from what I can tell, this vehicle has the ability to stretch like Liberty, although the real life Vespa bike is a bit shorter and a lot narrower. This may likely be the fact that this TV version of the Vespa might be a lot bigger and wider compared to its real life counterpart, which is smaller and narrower. Okay, what do I have to say for this one? From what I can tell, this car is basically modified after a 2009 Audi R8 supercar. This was also another type of car because unlike the previous vehicles, they were just basically using older versions. But the Audi R8 is a modern sports car, while Roxy's vehicle, on the other hand, is modified into a monster truck. However, this is not actually quite true because there is no monster truck version of an Audi R8 because the Audi R8 is a performance car, not a monster truck. Okay, this is going to be my last vehicle that I ever chosen. The vehicle of Rory basically looks like a JDM legend, the Honda S2000. Yes, that Honda S2000 because look at that sharp and aggressive face. How can you not notice that? The Honda S2000 was actually a mid-sized sports car that was actually small in real life. And in fact, the Honda S2000 was famous in the Too Fast, Too Furious movie in 2003. And this is basically an even shorter version of the actual car. So yeah, this is definitely an icon to remember. I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. Make sure that you go comment, like, and sub.